I'm going to have some information to put before you on the CARES grant applications and so on. But before we go to that, I need to defer over to Solicitor David Warner. So Jay, if you could bring Dave Warner into the meeting. And this is in regard to the settlement with the governor's office that has received so much attention here the last week. And David's going to need your ratification of the approval of that settlement, since it was originally discussed in executive session, bringing it to the floor here. So I'll go to Dave then, if that's all right, Mr. Chairman.
Good.
Yeah, and Jamie, I apologize. I wasn't on the meeting at the beginning. Did you already announce the executive session that occurred, or no?
I did not.
Okay. So just to publicly announce and make part of our record here is that the Board of Commissioners met in executive session on Thursday, August 6th, around 11:30 a.m. To discuss a matter of litigation. And in that meeting, due to the necessity and timing of the lawsuit that was pending, the Board of Commissioners took an action by a vote of 2-1, with Commissioners Phillips and Litz voting in favor and Commissioner Ames voting against, to enter into the agreement that resolved the county's pending lawsuit versus Governor Wolf in regard to the CARES Act funding. And I'm just looking simply today for the consent of the board, acknowledging that occurred in that meeting, and the authorization that was given by the 2-1 vote for Commissioners Phillips and Litz to then execute the settlement agreement. So again, just simply, we are not looking for debate or discussion or reiteration of anything that occurred or the prior vote. We're just looking for affirmation that this did occur, and we will make that part of our record.
Does that affirmation come in a form of a motion?
I'll make a motion to ratify.
I'm just asking a question, Commissioner.
I'm sorry.
I'm asking for clarification if we need a motion or not.
Yes, if you could, just to acknowledge that. I would candidly take just the unanimous consent of the board that we're just making that part of the record. Again, not changing votes or re-voting or anything like that. We're just affirming factually that this did occur on that date.
Okay. All right. Commissioner, sorry to interrupt you.
So, no, that's okay. I didn't understand that you were asking a question. I make a motion to ratify the signing of the agreement with Governor Wolf concerning the CARES funds of $12.8 million. We ended the lawsuit.
I thought, Solicitor, we were looking just for an affirmation. Isn't that what the motion would address?
Yeah, and I hate to be overly technical here or picking the minutia, but yeah, I'm just looking for ratification that event, as I summarized, just did occur in the executive session as addressed.
So moved.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We're affirming as per our solicitor's request. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
It's 2-1 affirmed. Okay. Anything else, David?
That's all I had.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Then if I could at this point bring in, I know that some of our participants here on the working group for the CARES grant that I've been meeting with, some of them I think have to leave for an 11 o'clock, so that's okay. We can still get through it. But Jay, could you bring in Brook Smith, Jennifer Kuzo, going down the list alphabetically here, Karen Groh, and Susan Eberly. Okay. Okay, so Mr. Chairman, I just want to introduce these folks. Jennifer Kuzo is with Visit Lebanon Valley, Karen Groh with the Chamber, Susan Eberly with Economic Development Corporation, and Brook Smith with the United Way. I've been meeting with them for the last, I think, better part of 2 months to come up with, in anticipation of the CARES Act funding, the County Relief Block Grant, to come up with a process to distribute those funds out to the businesses, nonprofits, employers, municipalities, et cetera, that are eligible under the CARES Act block grant. And it's been a great group to work with. We did meet with you yesterday in a workshop just to go over the work that's been done so far, the application, the frequently asked questions, the rubric for scoring the applications. And so you've had a chance to see that. You suggested a few changes to those documents, which were made since yesterday and were emailed to you directly by Karen. And hopefully today you're comfortable enough to approve those documents so that we can keep on moving and get this money out into the hands of the businesses that need it, nonprofits, et cetera. It's what we believe a fairly straightforward application, total of 3 pages, which most of the third page is certification by the applicant of a number of fine print requirements and so on. And that would be an online application. We will be utilizing we'll be utilizing as many outlets as we can, but the Forward Together Lebanon website, the county website, various different places we can. I'm sure United Way, Chamber, BDC, et cetera, to direct anyone who's interested in applying for those funds it would direct them right back to the application process. And it'll be an online application, but they could also fill out a hard copy application. Not all of the information has been concluded or resolved just yet, but we have most of it. We have enough of it to get moving on an application and start to get this in the hands of everyone. The FAQ at this point, I think, is about 36 frequently asked questions that we compiled. Much of this, by the way, was with the help of Lancaster County. Lancaster County, as many know, received their CARES funds back in, I think, May already, and have done a pretty nice job of doling out those funds, getting ready for it, having the FAQ, and these people that you're meeting with today have connections in those other counties, their own counterparts, and have been able to lean on them for this information, and those other counties have been willing to share. So we didn't start from scratch, but we did tailor it in many ways to Lebanon County, and I expect that as we go, this will probably be tailored even further as the process evolves and as we learn. And we're going to do, I believe, 2 rounds of this. So after learning some things in the first round, hopefully we can modify it or fine tune it for the second round. The allocations, I think that you're familiar with, are being made available here. Are $3 million in small business grants and PPE distribution for employers under 100 employees. $2.25 million in grants and PPE to tourism-related businesses and county fair, and the county fair. $2 million for the same for nonprofit 501c3 and 501c19s, which are specified in the CARES Act as those 2 nonprofit categories, and $1.5 million for Economic Development Corporation efforts toward promotions and the Forward Together Lebanon. So that's the overview of it. Again, hopefully we were able to hash some things out yesterday in the workshop so that you're comfortable with these documents. And huge thanks to these four people who've helped us along. The reason behind leaning to them is their experience with business, obviously, with the chamber and Susan, experience with nonprofits through Brook and the United Way, who deals with nonprofits and doles this money out, or their money out on an annual basis. And of course, Jen has a lot of links to her members and to all of the businesses who are involved with tourism in Lebanon County. And I want to qualify that even though these organizations were involved in the creation and development of this program, anyone who applies does not need an affiliation with these organizations. That's something I know that the commissioners, you have fielded that question already from some people who were aware of the involvements in these trade organizations, and that's not a requirement. It's just that their knowledge and their base was useful in developing this program. So I'll try and cut myself off there, and I'll leave it to any of the four of you if you want to add anything to this that I may have overlooked or missed mentioning.
Before we take input from the other folks, Commissioner Litz has a question or a comment.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was wondering, was the, I want to say corrected, but adjusted application that we discussed yesterday, was that mailed out, because I didn't get it. Did it go to the county perhaps? I haven't had a chance to review it.
Yeah, it's probably in your county email.
Okay.
Email inbox, yeah.
Okay, so any vote we take would be subject to my be able to look at that, because I haven't seen the corrections. And I know Karen's very good, but I still would like to reserve the option of reviewing that.
Karen, do you want to verify just a couple of changes you made?
Absolutely. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I did email all of the commissioners last evening to your county email addresses. So they were sent probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah, I can't access that.
But you could this morning.
No, I was preparing for today's and I didn't see it in my inbox.
Karen, there were just a few. Do you mind just verifying what they were?
What the changes were?
Yeah.
Yes. So on the application, we added numbering to all of the questions and sections so that they were easier to reference. We took out anything in the rubric related to minority-owned or women-owned businesses. And on the FAQ, again, we gave page numbers to it and changed a few things just for clarity. And we also, additionally, we added the county seal to both documents.
Okay.
That sounds like most of the things we talked about. Thank you, Karen.
Okay. So any of the members of our working group want to touch on something I may have missed or add something before we? No? Telling me I hit it all? Let me just briefly go over, I guess, rough schedule, hopeful schedule for this. We hope to, because all of these organizations are getting a lot of questions about when is this going to happen, when's it going to be available. Our hope is to put this out for the first window of an application period from September 1st to September 15th. This is not first come, first served. There will be 2 rounds. And it doesn't matter the size of the employer in either of those rounds. For some who may have noticed in Lancaster County, their first round was for employers that had 1 to 20 employees, and the second round was 1 to 100. We're going to do both rounds wide open for any size employer. So the first one, September 1st to September 15th, close of application on the 15th. Hopefully be able to review those and make award announcements by September 30th. We will then give ourselves a 2-week period to readjust and fine tune anything from the first round that we may have learned, and then reopen another application period on October 15th and go to October 30th with that window. And then take some time to review the applications, award them, by November 15th. And at that point in time, it's built into the CARES Act that that all counties are to sort of, take account and see how much money, reconcile and see how much money has been spent, how much has not been spent. Submit that number then onto to DCED. They will then put that back into the mix and reallocate the money back out to counties by formula that is contained in Act 24 passed by the state legislature. So we have, a September, October, November period here to do this, and then it'll be revisited. The CARES Act says that all monies must be spent by December 30th. That's the deadline built into the CARES Act. That's a really compressed timeline for not only, particularly for us being a little late in the game here receiving the funds, but even counties who've had their money for a month now are, clamoring for more time. It's my understanding that that has been a discussion at the state level. However, it really needs to be done at the federal level by Congress to extend that, since the CARES Act is a federal act. There is a bill that's been introduced. It's a bipartisan bill introduced by senators from Iowa and New Hampshire to extend the CARES Act to the end of 2021 by a full year. So we won't know that probably until December, if that actually happens. So that would certainly be advantageous for everyone to have more time. I guess it's understandable that when they were debating and approving this act back in March and April, that seemed like a lot of time to get this done and out there. But time's passing quickly, and it's going to be a real challenge. So that's the timeline: 2 rounds, 2 weeks of open windows to apply. So on. Commissioner Litz, I think, has a question.
Yes.
Commissioner
Oh,
Litz.
one more question, please. Karen, on the forward together, was that ironed out with our solicitor? Or David, have you reviewed that and made a recommendation?
No, I can answer that. No, not yet. It was, end of the day yesterday, and Dave was in court.
It was a lot, yes, I understand. I just wondered if there was a recommendation yet.
Yeah,
We can
he's
do
aware.
whatever. Yes.
He's aware, and I've provided the application to him to look over for the.
So there might be some adjustments yet.
There could be.
Subject to review.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see the logo is prominently displayed. Thank you, Karen, along with everything else. A good update from yesterday. And so, Brooke, did you have a question? No. Okay. Anything else? We can move to it.
We just ask.
I'll make a motion to have the panel move forward with the application process, considering the information that we've received and adjustments that may be made going forward.
I'll second that motion.
And sorry, Commissioner Ames, was the subject to approval of our solicitor in that as well?
No, I guess it wasn't.
Just
Well, I said subject to changes going forward, so.
yeah, that could have encompassed that.
That covers
Yes.
it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion on the motion? So this would include the FAQs and the consent form, the application, all the things we were.
In the scoring rubric as it was presented.
Yep. Okay. All right. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you very much for all your work. And this really does get us on pace with other counties that got their money 4 weeks ago. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies.